Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. We have the universe card, the world card. You're a person who has been, I feel like for a while there in life you felt a little lost, that you didn't really know where you fit in. You didn't really know what world was yours, right? Like where you really belonged, where you were supposed to be, what your little corner of the world was, or what your path was supposed to be. Sometimes with the universe card, I feel a sense of drifting in outer space, that we're just sort of rudderless, and it's not the same as being a feather in the wind or a cork on the ocean, right? We're kind of lost in space, which means we're just drifting in whatever direction we were pushed. That's the direction that we've kept going. Okay, it's not that things are changing of their own accord. It's not like the wind is then blowing us in a different direction, or the currents of the currents of the ocean, are sort of are blowing us the other way. It's kind of like we've been pushed into one direction, and that's the direction that we have maintained. Okay, so in that sense, I feel like we're kind of we've been doing the same thing for a long time here. Yeah. We've been going in the same direction perhaps for a while now. And I kind of feel as if we're looking for some sort of confirmation or validation or some sort of sign that says, has this been the right choice for me, or should I change course, and how do I change course? Sometimes this card is a card of loneliness, right? When we're in the vast expanse of space, the distance between stars seems very great, okay? So we might also be kind of like looking for connections. It's lonely out in space, right? So we might be looking for when am I going to arrive at my star system? When am I gonna get there? Yeah, this is the card that implies we've had patience, but our patience may be growing a little thin. Let's put this card into a little bit of context, and let's see look at that. Ace of Cups right off the bat. To me, that feels like we're arriving somewhere for sure. This feels like a jackpot, right? A jackpot of love, a jackpot of connection. This feels like it feels like a very holy moment, okay? We have a Nine of Wands. We have the Empress behind you, the Ten of Pentacles above you. We have the star, the sun, right, which is a star. That is right in front of us now. So I feel like you have been on this path with heart. You've been committed to it. You've been going fire to earth, right? You've been putting all of your effort into this goal, and I feel like you're going to arrive. I feel like this is a big-time jackpot for you. I feel like you've left the safety of home, and you've been kind of entering a new universe. I feel like there was a time where you felt like you were completely alone on this path. Here's the Fool. And the Fool is the one who's literally drifting in outer space. This is the one that is lost in space, the cork on the ocean, the feather in the wind. Okay? And this is the one that's sort of drifting. I think you've been drifting with purpose. And drifting to me feels like we've put our I don't know, it's like we've set course in a certain direction, and we've never deviated from that. So I almost feel like if there's something in your life that you've been doing for a long, long time, that has been a constant thing for you, you haven't been changing, shifting, and changing course and altering the path. And I think there's something that's been like a thread through your entire life. And it's about to pay off. Yeah. So we've got the Fool, we've got the Six of Pentacles, another great card. We have an Ace of Swords, that's what we're looking for now. And we have the Four of Cups. We're arriving at the safe harbor. Yeah. I think that's really, this is fantastic. This is really, really good. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it over here with Alien, Simon Mork Ripley, right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, as we look around the room, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana cards, okay? Leaving the safety of home, spending a long time drifting, or, I mean, I don't even like to say drift because that implies that we're kind of going, both all around different ways and sort of side to side. I feel that we've set a course, we've been pushed into a particular direction, and in the vacuum of space, the inertia, right? The momentum. An object in motion stays in motion. Same course, same trajectory until we're acted upon by an outside force. So I feel like you've kept yourself on a straight and narrow path for a long time. You're arriving at your star. You're arriving at your destination. You're arriving at success and joy and celebration. You've been doing your will. And to me, that feels like that is the joy of life. So I kind of feel like the Ace of Cups is you realizing that this has been the path for you all along. And you're arriving not only at your destination in the physical realm, like, if it's some kind of success or some kind of breakthrough or some sort of stardom or fortune, fame, like whatever the jackpot is for you in the external world. I think the jackpot is also that you're kind of coming back to your true self. And you're realizing that this has been the quest for you. And the quest, you are succeeding. You're finding the Holy Grail. After a long time questing, you're getting the Holy Grail, right? You're succeeding in your quest. So anyway, we have our majors. We have the Fool, obviously, who is, kind of looking for the certainty. I think the Fool is the one who's on the quest. The Fool is obviously the hero of the story, right? And I think the Fool is looking for that certainty that, did I make the right choice starting this journey? Was this the right quest for me? And I think despite these doubts, which we're going to have to deal with, all of us are going to have doubts about our path, no matter how glorious the path is or how certain we once felt. There's going to be moments where we're like, I don't know. I think the Fool is getting the certainty that it needs to really accept that, okay, there's beyond the shadow of a doubt, this is my path. Okay. Beyond the major arcana, we've got fire, we've got water, we've got a couple of water cards, a little bit of air, and we have really strong earth cards, the 10 and the 6 of Pentacles. This is absolutely amazing. Okay, really, really good. We have the fire and earth connection here, which is that spiritual electrical circuit of creation. There's been something that you've been trying to manifest for a long time. The 10 of Pentacles is your vision of the best life. This is everything. This is your pets, your plants, your people, right? And I feel like you have this in mind. You have a vision of what you want in life, what you imagine the destination would look like, right? Color of the wallpaper, what kind of furniture, what kind of carpet, And I feel like this is a very detailed sort of goal for you. I think you know what you like. People who are kind of planning their future, they're like, I want this color car. It's got to have this kind of tires. I want this kind of a house. It's got to be in this location by the park or whatever. I feel like we have a pretty specific vision. And if you don't, get out a sheet of paper, get out a pencil, draw a picture of your best life. What is it that you want? What is the destination going to look like? If we get there, how would we know we're there? If we arrived at a new star system, suddenly I arrive at this place, a new kind of solar system, and say, is this where I belong? How would we know? Okay, how would we know? Well, I think we have to figure that out a little bit. What is it going to look like? Is it going to have It's going to have, well, like I said, pets, plants, people. It's going to have love. It's going to have abundance. There's going to be connections there. There's going to be a certain type of financial security, I think. This is the card of wealth. What does wealth mean to you? It doesn't have to just be money or scratch or Skrilla, right? It's connections. It's love. It's abundance. It's gratitude. It is a spiritual life. It is a responsibility. It's maybe a family thing. It can be different things to different people. Okay, and I think we need to know what that is for us, so that when we're arriving, when we're getting closer to that, we can see that we're heading in the right direction. Okay, and the Nine of Wands underneath everything, this is your strength. Okay, and I think that right now, because the Nine of Wands is underneath the surface, we've been sort of doubting our strength a little bit, or doubting our commitment, because this is our backbone. This is our resolve. This is like we've been thrust in a particular direction in life, and because of momentum, we've been in that direction for a long time. We have stayed the course for a long time, straight as an arrow, right? And there may have been some deviations, there may have been some slowdowns and some detours and whatever, but generally speaking, you've been committed to this for a long, long time. And this is that strength and that resolve and that commitment and that willpower. But because it's underneath the surface now, we might be like kind of questioning it, right? Because the universe card right here is sort of the question. This is just like, am I going to get there? Am I ever going to arrive? That we've been sailing through space, right, on this straight and narrow course. And it just seems like I don't know if I'm getting close to this thing at all. This is the card of the question itself, right? What question is on your mind, Aries? To me, it feels like a question of when, or a question of if this is right for me. Okay, but this is the card also of things coming to a conclusion. This is the card that's saying we're arriving. Yeah. We're arriving. But I think that we're starting to doubt our own strength. We're starting to waver a little bit. We're starting to kind of run out of fuel a little bit. We're kind of like just barely backing off the accelerator and thinking, well, maybe I should change course. Maybe I should do a 180, right? Maybe I should just cut my losses now and get the heck out of here. Maybe I should just do a real quick 90-degree turn and look in a different place. Maybe this isn't where I'm supposed to be, right? But as we see with the Ace of Cups and the Sun card here, I feel like that you're going to arrive. Don't change course at all. Okay, the comfort of home, right? The Empress card in the background. This is what you've left. You've left the safety and security of the old life. Okay, this is any kind of initiation. It is an initiation into sort of adulthood in a way, because we leave the safety and security of home. The first time that you leave home as a kid, or as an adult, whatever age you are. I left home when I was 17. The first time you leave home, your parents' home, where you were raised, kind of thing. That is a really big initiation, because we're sort of being ripped away from this mother energy, and we're being put into sort of the we're being initiated into a new world of vastly more possibilities. Both of these are very maternal energies, right? The universe itself, the womb of the universe, and of course our human origin, where we grew up in the safety of our home, relatively speaking. I don't know if you had a very positive childhood or not. I would assume that you probably did. Because of the Empress, it's a very nourishing and loving and supportive kind of card. It's one that it would be difficult for us to leave. I didn't have the easiest home life. It wasn't very difficult for me to leave at 17 and go get a job and do my own thing, But actually, I got my first job when I was 15 and a half. But anyway, left home when I was 17. It wasn't difficult for me, but I feel like maybe it was difficult for you. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about when you were your childhood home, but the idea of the Empress is that we left the safety and security of what we had, Maybe this only happened a couple years ago. It doesn't matter. That's the point. These initiations happen repeatedly throughout our life. When we get very comfortable and we feel safe and secure in our life, it's very challenging for us to answer the call to adventure and start the quest. I feel like you've started the quest and we've left home. This is Parsifal in the Holy Grail cycle, where he leaves home. He leaves the safe and innocent and rather sheltered security of his mom. And he goes out on this adventure to follow these knights off doing whatever the heck they're going to do. And that begins his initiation into, his knighthood and his adulthood and into his true self and all this kind of stuff. We can look at it all those sorts of ways. But in your life particularly, I feel like we left our safe and secure situation. Maybe it's like I had this job, I had this life, I had this little apartment, it was great. And then I decided one day to just sort of, that's the idea. I don't think we decided. As I felt in the beginning, you were thrust into something. And this reminds me of the bonus reading we did for you. Because I feel like you answered a call to adventure. I feel like something was prompting you and urging you and saying, you have to leave this and go and have this adventure, to have this journey, right? To accept this initiation. It's a summons, and I feel that we had no choice but to respond to the summons and set out on this journey. Okay? And then now we're sort of wondering, did I make the right choice? Right? It wasn't necessarily a choice, because I feel like sometimes Spirit doesn't give us a choice. Sometimes the initiation happens, and it's not something that I said, hey, you know what, one day I'm going to leave home and I'm going to go have an adventure. That sounds nice. Sometimes it happens to us. That's why I feel like you were thrust out into the vastness of space, and you've just been sort of hurtling through space ever since. And guess what? You're about to arrive at sort of the pinnacle of that quest. Okay, but the safety that we had to leave, again, I don't think it was a choice. I think it was something that was thrust upon us by Spirit, by our own soul, something that we were compelled to do for whatever reason. I don't think it was a conscious choice anyway. But I do feel like it is working out for you. The Ace of Cups is the Holy Grail itself. And I feel like this is the search for you. And the Holy Grail is really the search for our own soul, our own true will, our own purpose, our own sort of deeper self. Okay? And connection with that deeper self is really going to heal us. It's going to heal the world. It's going to restore the balance and restore the harmony and beauty of the world. Our world, our particular personal reality. Okay? This, I think, also is the journey through the universe to find love, to find our path with heart, to realize our own true nature, but to also realize the life that we have been wanting to have, the life that is out there for us. Okay? Because Spirit's not going to come along and throw you into a path just to torture you and torment you. It's for a reason. Okay? It's to bring you closer to what your true love in life is. So it kind of feels like we've left the nest here, and we're wondering, boy, did I make a mistake? Should I go back to the nest? Right? You're going to find your new home, your new job, your new partner, your new life. You're going to find whatever it is that you're seeking. And it's going to feel really, really good. And your heart will know it. Your heart will know it before your eyes can see it. Okay? But very soon your eyes will see it too, because of this Sun card going forward. This is your true self. This is confidence. This is you radiating your light. I feel like you have an opportunity to really shine, to really step up to the plate and claim that which is yours. I feel like this is a real jackpot. But in order to claim the jackpot, I feel like you have to continue on this path with confidence. You have to continue the journey. You have to realize that you are you're a solar being, right? And that you're harmonizing and you're sort of equalizing the internal and the external. And I feel like you may feel like there's a lot of pressure on you to perform or to succeed or to really like do well at this thing, and you're going to. Okay, what you have inside of you is strong enough to match the pressures of the external world, and that's sort of the nature of the sun, right? It's a big ball of fire. Its own gravity is trying to crush it, so it has to really burn a lot of fuel inside in order to build up the pressure and sort of equalize that. Otherwise, you get a supernova, or you get crushed. You get a little, I don't know, a white dwarf or something, or even a black hole. So we want to maintain equilibrium as long as we can. So I feel like this card is about confidence, but I also feel that this is the card of saying success, the big win, that we've arrived and that we're on this beautiful little planet next to this really wonderful and warm star, and we've arrived at our new home, right? And this is where we are going to sort of build the rest of our life, right? And maybe it is implying a literal journey for you, like to a new home, okay? But I think metaphorically speaking too, this is talking about the grand finale of the quest that you're on and the real success that you're going to achieve, okay? Now, on the path of the serpent, we see the Fool, and we see some other good stuff. But the Fool now is your general energy. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. The Fool is the one who sort of is wandering through life, kind of feels lost. Yeah. The one who has just set out on the quest and is saying, I don't know who I am or where I'm going or what I'm supposed to do. It's kind of that innocent fool. It's Parsifal, right? And I think that at first it may feel like we're stumbling around, that we don't really have a good idea of what we're supposed to do. Okay. But to me, this feels like, well, it feels like a child who has just left home. Okay. And, you know, that's going back to that metaphor of the child or the young adult who the first time they leave home, you know, and they're out in the world on their own, and they're just like, I got to find my way. I got to have a job, an apartment. I got to find my friends. I got to build a life. I've got to have a system. I've got to somehow harmonize myself with the world around me. The Fool otherwise is just stumbling around looking for fun things to do, just looking for novelty. May stumble into some really cool things, may stumble into some really not so cool things, right? Without a sense of direction, the Fool is literally a fool. But because we have a Fool card, let us do an I Ching hexagram. Anytime we get the Fool in a reading, I like to do an I Ching hexagram because, you know, the I Ching loves to distinguish between a fool and a sage. And I think the Fool card is really the embodiment of that sort of youthful folly, but also of that sort of divine wisdom. So let's see what hexagram we have here. We have 56, traveling, yeah. Traveler, creating small success. Traveling, constancy brings good fortune. Constancy is this card, the 9 of Wands, right? Traveling, creating small success. Okay, let's read the card. It says, to be the traveler means you're not at home here. No, you've left home. You don't know, you don't belong here, or we don't know where we belong yet. Since you're only passing through, your creative involvement is limited. You can't expect to change your surroundings, and nor should your surroundings change you. Be constant on your own way. Be constant to your own way as you travel. What do you bring with you into each new situation? Well, this is you. This is what you bring. You bring your light, your radiance. What does this place ask of you, and where are you going? Okay. Now, that sort of refers up here to our 6 of Pentacles, because the 6 of Pentacles in the environment, in the position of your relationships, this is those sort of temporary, the temporary towns that the Fool might wander through. Those temporary, the adventures that the Fool has on the journey to the Holy Grail, all the side quests, of the Grail cycle, a lot of adventures, right? And so this is kind of those small successes. This is like each day or each particular, there's little waypoints. I think that we're accomplishing a lot along the way. We're meeting a lot of people on this journey, and we are finding, I think you're going to be finding the resources that you need. The people, the places, the things are going to appear on your path when and where you need them. Okay? And we realize that some things are only in our life temporarily, and then they will pass and they'll be done. Everything that comes in, even if it's very, very good, we don't cling to it and say, I'm keeping this forever. We let things go when the time is when it's needed, when we're supposed to. And so it's kind of like we're traveling through life, okay? And sometimes that's going to have an inherent loneliness or melancholy about it, because we want permanent relationships. We want lasting friendships. I want to know people for the rest of my life. And so it's always a challenge when we get really attached to somebody, we get really close to somebody, and then in a few years they're gone. And either through just life happening, or through an injury or illness, or a transition into spirit, and things are changed, things are different. We hang on to these peak moments, we hang on to what we can, but we learn to let things go when the time is ripe, okay? But this card in your environment, I think, is a lot of success. I think that you're finding the right people. You're finding a place where you fit in. You're going to, and whether this is the permanent place or whether there's going to be a little bit more journey after this, well, that's up to you. It depends on how the 6 of Pentacles fits into the 10. When you look at it that way, it's like, well, there's still a few more steps there. Okay, the 6 is not the 10. It's not the finished product, but sometimes we might say, you know what, this is pretty nice. I think I want to stay here for a while. And maybe that while will turn into a few years, or maybe the rest of our lives. We just don't know. But see, the path toward perfection has a lot of good resting places along the way, a lot of good vista points along the way, right? The path to the top of the mountain, there's a lot of good little towns and villages that you could stop at and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I just want to stay here. Maybe this is enough for me for right now. Okay, so I think that you're finding a group of people that you fit in with. You're finding your tribe. You're finding your people, and we know that it could change at any moment, and that's okay if it does. Everything, we might feel like this is quite a permanent thing, and then another initiation will take place. And, we might have another summons, another call to action, and things will change, and we'll have to continue our journey, in a different, into a different realm, right? A different area of life. But I think that this is a very good, I don't want to call it a plateau, but this is a very good destination. Okay, this is a lot of success. I feel like this is one in a series of jackpots. I feel like we are finding that Holy Grail. We are finding that the Holy Grail is our true self, and the path is the joyous path. And if we choose to stay here and make this the rest of our life, that's wonderful, right? I feel like there will be more journey. There will be more initiations that take place, okay? And that initiation is when our life is disrupted by what may be called a tower moment, okay? And our life is disrupted, and the 6 that we have will become a 5 again, or will become a 7. A 7 maybe is saying, well, I've stayed too long. I need to make the choice to go. The 5 might be saying, something's happening, and now I have no choice but to go, okay? And again, this could be, the initiations are sometimes heralded by an injury, an illness, a major life event, some sort of upset, some sort of very significant thing. It's by a tower, a lightning strike, a tower event. Sort of heralds the beginning of the next quest, okay? But I think right now you're arriving at the sort of the finish of the current quest. And I think that is to be enjoyed, that is to be celebrated. It is the jackpot, and I think this is wonderful. I think the Ace of Swords here is your doubt. The Ace of Swords, the clarity, is in the position of the obstacle. It's difficult for us to see whether or not this was a smart move, whether this was a really good choice or not. And so the more the Fool embraces the journey and follows the heart, I think the mind will become more and more clear. We'll get the certainty. And we understand also, if we understand the initiation or the Grail cycle as something that repeats over and over and over again, that's why they call it a cycle, then we start to have a little bit more clarity that says, okay, this isn't just one quest for the rest of my life, and that's my entire life. that this quest, it may be very short. It could be the quest of only a couple days. It could be a couple years. It could be the rest. It could be the rest of our lives. But we understand that the conclusion of a quest, there's like a liminal space. There's a resting period, either shorter or longer, and then another quest will begin. Okay, so we're getting clarity about what our bigger picture journey is. And that's part of our sun card too, because we begin to see life as a whole rather than just this moment is what I'm doing now and just I can't see past the end of my nose. The sun card is saying, I understand the past, the present, and the future. And I can see how my life has been a series of these initiatory quests and how I'm in the middle of another one. It's going to conclude and it's going to feel really, really good. And then another one will begin at some point in the future. Most likely, okay? So what we feel now is a Four of Cups, and that feeling is a feeling of safety. It's the moon in Cancer. It's sort of the safe harbor. It feels like the wandering traveler, the fool, has arrived at a very comfortable place. This is a card of luxury. This is the card of saying, like, I'm road weary. I've been out there on the quest. I just want a hot meal and a room at the inn, And I feel like that's the feeling, and it's comfort. We can take a hot shower, we can relax, we can enjoy what we've accomplished, knowing that eventually we're going to be back out there on the road again, having another quest. But let's not rush into it, right? Spirit will let us know when it's time to start the next one. So I feel like this is really this is a period of arrival, of relaxation, and I think it's a jackpot. Okay, I think that we're getting that Ace of Cups, and it's going to feel really good, and we're gonna enjoy this, and we're coming in from the road, coming in from the cold, so to speak. And I think it's going to be very comforting. It's not where we were. Okay, it's not where we've originated from. It is a resting place on this larger journey of our life, the larger quest, right? Let's look at the mystery card. Maybe this will be another Empress. Maybe this is going to be kind of coming full circle. Maybe this will be another universe or world card. I don't know. Maybe the Hermit. Yeah. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see. The Moon. The Moon is kind of the next quest, right? We find ourselves at the edge of a dark wood. What do? Time for another quest. So this is another card of cycles, right? Lunar cycles. And so this is saying that, right now we might be getting full illumination, and everything might just feel extraordinarily good, right? With that Sun card, it just feels like everything is wonderful. Eventually, it'll be nighttime again, and it'll be time to face the fear, face the darkness, and face the uncertainty of what's coming next. So this is reminding us that the cycle will begin again. Every time we have an ending of a quest, we know in the back of our mind that there will be another one. That eventually we will be confronted with a fear, a darkness, an uncertainty, a choice, an option, another herald, right? And we'll have to go back out, and this is us kind of leaving the comfort of home again and facing the unknown. Yeah. So it all comes back around again. I like it. We're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, we're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link in the video description. New readings for Aries Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.